We back on the NFL top 50 greatest player list. All-time 50 greatest players according to me, of course. We're on number 35, and at 35, Steve Young is who I want to talk about. Steve Young is a quarterback that played for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, he wasn't drafted there, but that's where he built his legacy, where he made his legend. Steve Young was a 6-time All-Pro, 3 times first team, a 2-time league MVP. Twice he was considered the best player on the planet. He played during a time where he was competing against the Dallas Cowboy dynasty of the early 90s. He was a dual threat quarterback before there was a name for that. Now, he was a 3-time Super Bowl champion, but none more important than the one he led the San Francisco 49ers to in 1994. That was the last of 5 championships that the 49ers won in the 80s into the mid-90s when they were doing their thing. Steve Young was a threat on the field because you were worried about his ability to run that football and pick up a first down and move the chains with his legs, but more importantly, the accuracy of his throwing, his precision. He led the league in passer rating and completion percentage many years of his career. Steve Young was a complete machine out there and one of the elite passers the game has ever seen. Now, he's number 35, so at number 34, I'm going with Sammy Baugh, another quarterback. And I know, here I go, going back in history again. Some of y'all, this might get a little old for you. You don't want to hear about the old players from the 40s and the 50s and all that. But Sammy Baugh, not only did he play for the Washington football team, which is my football team from the area I grew up in, but more importantly, he was an all-time great player, not just because he was a quarterback, because he was a football player. He was an all-time great as a punter, all-time great as a cornerback, and an 8-time All-Pro at quarterback. So he played all parts of the field, both sides of the field, every aspect of the game. In a lot of people's lists, they got him as top 20 all-time player. He's 34 for me, but I can't leave him off the list even if he played a long time ago. Sammy Baugh was an all-time great that needs to be respected for his work as a complete NFL football player. Now at number 33, there's Troy Polumolu, safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 2000s. You knew Troy was coming by seeing the hair hanging out of his helmet. He was easy to recognize on the football field, but feared by many. Troy Polumolu was a guy who played in a legit defensive system when he was the system. He was the type of guy that could play out the system, a rogue, if you will, out there on the football field. And he could play and do things his way, go off schedule from what the defensive scheme was, and make a play himself, and his coaches allowed him to do so because he was so great at it. A 6-time All-Pro, 4 times first team. Troy Polumolu was a 2-time NFL champion and a Defensive Player of the Year. Make sure you know who he is, as well as my number 32 on the list, which is Ed Reed. Ed Reed, another safety, played for the Baltimore Ravens, 8-time All-Pro, also a Defensive Player of the Year, also an NFL champion. His IQ was unmatched by some at the safety position, the type of guy where quarterbacks had to account for him even when he wasn't in the play, because he would set you up and make it seem like he wasn't in the play so that he could get you to play to one of your tendencies and then pick you off if you were the quarterback. Peyton Manning talked about the great battles he had trying to figure out where Ed Reed was going to be on the field. Ed Reed, a special all-time great player, could cover and hit. And then number 31, Rod Woodson, another defensive legend for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Before Troy Polumolu's time, he was doing his thing. Rod Woodson was a 9-time All-Pro, also a Defensive Player of the Year, and a Super Bowl champion. He played cornerback, which he's most known for, but also safety. On a lot of people's first team All-Pro, all-time defensive team, If they were only picking 2 corners, I've seen a lot of people put Rod Woodson as one of those 2 corners. That's how much respect he garnishes. If you don't know about Rod Woodson, you better ask somebody. But he's number 31 on my list. Hopefully y'all like it. If you don't, comment and let me know. That's all the time I got. Y'all know who it is and you know who you looking for. J Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, or get at me in the comments. Find me on YouTube, Instagram, X, and TikTok. And as always, I'm bringing y'all that fire. So make sure y'all tune in.